Hello everyone, this is iMcLord and today we are playing Hero. But for what it's worth, we are playing a post-nerf version of Hero. You can see that I'm not playing any limited 3 staples. And I'm only playing 2 Stratoses and 1 Liquid Soldier. That's because by the time this video goes live or by the time that you're watching it, both of these cards will be on the limited 3 list, which means you can no longer play Lost Wind or Compulse or Necro Gardener, and all of these cards that Hero players are currently playing on ladder and getting to cog with and posting their cog list on GLM like, wow, look at me, I'm so great, I managed to get to cog with the strongest deck of the previous format that asked you to drop your brain entirely. I'm a very good player. So this video is for all of you Hero players who either didn't get to cog in March yet, which you had 7 days to do so. What were you doing? Just slam your head on the keyboard and you would have gotten to cog super easily. Or people who are looking forward to playing Hero in a post-nerf environment, which I'm not, but I know that statistically some of you ought to be. So this is the list. We're playing 2 Stratoses, 1 Liquid Soldier, a Solid Soldier, so that we can still have some, you know, Hero cards to pitch for the very fair and balanced kill. 2 Neos is more than enough. Playing 2 Crosskeepers. If you have 3, get 3, but I'm not spending money to get a 3rd Crosskeeper to play a deck that I genuinely hate. And then 1 of each of Armed Dragon Thunder level 10. If you have 2, maybe you can play 2. It's not a bad card to have it 2. I have 2, but I'm only playing 1 because I hate this deck. Rainbow Dragon, which more often than enough is just going to be used for the 3 Neos fusions that you also have to play. Armed Dragon level 10, which is there also. And also, if you're 3 calls, play the 3 calls. But once again, I'm not spending money on this piece of shit deck. You'll notice a very spicy tech in the form of Different Dimension Ground, which is a card that we can easily dig for with the Crosskeepers and Liquid Soldiers, and which is decent in the mirror. Helps in a couple of other scenarios, like it absolutely cooks your dolls. It turns off hand traps also. So keep that in mind if you activate this card. During your opponent's turn, you won't be able to use Effect Veiler, but you will be able to use Super Polymerization. And then for the extra, very fair, not limited 1 Rainbow Neos. 1 of each elemental hero attribute except Ab-Zero because that doesn't exist. A Brave Neos, which we can Neos Fusion, sending a Crosskeeper for an immediate draw to shuffle 1 back. And the Sunrises, which is still, to this day, a really good OTK enabler. Anyway, you know the deck, let's check a couple of replays. This first replay is a Hero Mirror. By the way, I've recorded all of these on March 6th, which means that the ban list isn't live yet. So keep that in mind when you see these Hero players list and think that they are playing pre-nerf and I'm not, okay? I just want it to be clear. Also, this is a 20 card version, because 26 rather, because I wasn't playing Kytroid and a Large Life Barrier in those lists yet, but I found, you know what, the ban list doesn't prevent me from playing completely unfair cards, so why should I not be playing the completely unfair cards? Activate the very fair skill, set Armed Dragon Thunder level 10, poly into Brave Neos with the Crosskeeper and the Elemental Hero Neos that's in my hand. Open double Neos, by the way, isn't that super cool? Anyway, I'm just gonna set 2 and pass, one of which is super poly. Activate the DDG very preemptively, even though it prevents me from using Armed Dragon Thunder level 10 and Effect Veiler. I can't use Effect Veiler. I'm an idiot. Oh boy, that was a misplay, everyone. That was a misplay, and I have to use my Spare Poly super early because I'm an idiot. And I don't know. That was dumb. That was just a big misplay. I should not have done that. They're gonna activate Neos Fusion, so they're even stupider than I. You know, oh look, they're gonna get the Rainbow Neos, but because of the DD thing, they banished all their thing. And then they're gonna click the yellow button and set an Armed Dragon Thunder level 10. Get poly, gets poly. Set to pass. That was a sham of a turn. End phase, I'm gonna pop one of their back row. Turns out it's a super poly, so you can use Armed Dragon Thunder level 10 and a Different Dimension Ground. That's weird. That is kind of weird. Anyway, I don't know why this ruling is, it just is. Armed Dragon Thunder level 10 is gonna pass my own Armed Dragon Thunder level 10, and then DD Crow is gonna get rid of it so that I can summon it again, but I have all the hero cards that I need. I can just pop their back row with the thing. Stratus, oh, attack directly for game. Oh wow, that was a really complicated game. Wow. What a tough one. The thing about hero mirrors is you have to be less stupid than your opponent. And I played very dumb this game, but my opponent was even stupider somehow. Can you believe that? Hey, look, another hero mirrors. Wow, do you remember when this was the only thing that you would see on ladder? Hopefully, by the time that you'll watch this video, there are all the decks that people are playing, although probably not, because hero is still like incredibly cheap and affordable and probably decent, like it's currently tier 2 on DLM, but it's tier 2 in the hands of competent players and not, you know, the kind of people that you would face on ladder that make this deck look like the absolute worst thing you've ever seen. My opponent's gonna sank Frostkeeper, flip Arm Dragon Thunderbolt and pass. You know you're a hero mirror, right? You know that you can just set the super poly to pressure me into doing stuff. You know? Like... I don't know what to say. Equal for Liquid Soldier, Pace Crosskeeper, set this. Probably could have just Book of Moon this thing, but I don't really care. Straighters get something. Oh no, they're gonna try and pop the Straighters. Oh look, I just have Spally. It's fine, and they're gonna concede. Because they realize that they have no idea how to play this game, and I do. So, wow. That's the strongest hero player right there. Alright, enough with the hero mirrors, you know how they work. This time we're gonna be facing a completely different style of eating glue. That's right, it's Sacred Beast. Sacred Beast is also one of these glue-eating decks that catches you unaware if you're not prepared for it. You just get to eat glue all day, and this was great back in late 2024 when this deck was playable, and people posted about how good they were for playing this deck. Even though you just click yellow button, you get all the cards that you need, and then you get a big beta. Isn't that super fun? Opponent's gonna normal summon Dark Beckoning Beast, but I have the Veiler. I use the Veiler now because I think it's funnier. They're gonna activate Cerulean Skyfire, and because I activated a hand trap, they just get to put the Almond from the hand into their deck, into their field for basically free. So now I have to be very, very cautious because they do have a card that can negate Super Polymerization. I don't know if you knew that, but Cerulean Skyfire can in fact negate Super Polymerization because it negates the effect, and Super Polymerization only says cards can be activated in response, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, cards cannot be activated in response. Unfortunately for my opponent, they left a 0 attack monster in face-up attack position, which means I just get to click yellow button, summon Rainbow Dragon, and attack them for game. Eating glue! Oh no, it is the fabled hero counter of Sharks. Sharks counters hero because Absolute Zero is not in the game yet. Whatever shall I do in this matchup, in which my opponent is playing Sharks and I am playing hero, and I have opened kinda mid. We will see. My opponent activates their also very fair and balanced skill in order to send 2 to the graveyard. This skill is also like a really good candidate for one of the most eatingest glue skills of all time. My opponent is going to activate left hand, but I have the effect Veiler, but they have another right hand, so they still get to make an Xyz for, you know. They're gonna go into Abyss Dweller. Isn't that swell? Isn't that fun? I'm gonna send one and pass. It's fine, it's manageable. The Dweller's kind of an issue, but I can just pitch ADT LV10, set regular ADT, and pretend that I'm gonna pass stuff. But unfortunately for me, they have the control, so no. But fortunately for me, I have the Straighters, but unfortunately for me, they have the effect Veiler, and I can't change Super Poly because Ab-Zero isn't in the game, so that's fine. I'm just gonna set to pass, attack the left-hand shark that gets banished, and that's gonna call my turn. Wow, isn't that impressive? I'm gonna activate the very fair part of the skill that gives them a monster for absolutely free. Flip it. Uh-oh, there's the one opportunity I have of using Super Poly, so I'm just gonna use Super Poly here. I'm gonna go into Elementario Escuridao and activate this card, which maybe I should have activated earlier. I don't know, it doesn't really matter. Different Dimension Ground is not actually that great in this matchup. But unfortunately for me, they're gonna get a really big Abyss Dweller. Yeah, no, the big Abyss Dweller punches me. And now I'm going full stupid mode. You'll notice that I pitched the Crosskeeper and not the Arm Dragon level 10. That's because I forgot how the skill worked. I forgot that I can just summon from hand. So instead I have to set Rainbow Dragon. Look, there it is. And as though the Abyss Dweller can be destroyed by a battle, I knew that. My opponent literally can't do anything to beat the Rainbow Dragon that I got for free. Wow, I just get to click that and they can't do anything. I'm gonna flip the Arm Dragon level 10 and look, they can't do anything. Isn't that a super fun and interesting match? Wow. Sharks countered my deck so much that I lost, except that I won. Oh, look, it's Windwitches. A deck which I've been assured is going to become meta once the ban list and skill changes go live. I guess that could still happen, as long as there's any competitive tourneys in which Windwitches have had the opportunity to play with their buff skill, because the buff skill isn't in the game yet. So maybe that could happen, who knows. I get to go first, and I open the hand of every single card that you would want, ever. Including the newest fusion. I'm gonna pitch Crosskeeper, summon ADT, get the Stratos. They don't have a Veiler, so I just get to parley into a Thunderize. And at this point I'm growing self-conscious. I'm like, wait. What if they have Dark Hole? What if they do, in fact, have a Dark Hole? So I should probably use the newest fusion for the thing. That, look, Equal gets me a Neos because I have nothing in my deck anymore. I should probably use the Neos Fusion to get a Brave Neos, so that it's protected against Dark Hole. Set these two and pass. I'm gonna flip the different dimension ground really early, because I'm that kind of person. My opponent's gonna open Book of Eclipse, Spiritualism, putting back my Super Poly, which I don't think you needed to, and then Dark Hole. 3 card combo. Book of Eclipse, Spiritualism, Dark Hole. Didn't even need the Spiritualism. They could have let me keep the Super Poly, or even better, they could have been playing MST or Cosmic Cyclone, something that would have removed the Super Poly from my grip forever, right? But instead, they're just gonna let me get it back. And I don't know why they would do that. They only have 2 cards in hand, but one of these cards is in fact a Windwitch Freeze Bell, and the second of this card is in fact Speed Rate Card Turbo. With the Freeze Bell effect, they're gonna be able to go into a 7, which is a Winter Bell. As an aside, you probably shouldn't be playing Card Turbo in Windwitches. This card isn't actually good. It makes your deck less consistent, in my opinion. Like, if you put more cards in your deck, it becomes less consistent. So if you just take 2 copies of Card Turbo out, you're probably gonna open the stuff that you actually need more often. Activate the skills to get a Snow Bell. Put them both into a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which is big beater. My opponent's not going to attack. Can be destroyed by card effects, but can be super polyed. Oh look, I activate my skill, get a Rainbow Dragon. Get a poly for free also. Neos, not even going to activate the effects. There's going to get Crystal Wings. I don't think it matters because I can change super poly. I'm just going to go into Great Tornado. I'm not going to BM. What's the point? Okay, I'm going to draw 2. Wow, that's great. Put this Neos Fusion back. Don't BM. I'm not the kind of person who likes to BM when I'm playing something as brain dead as Hero. What's the point? It's like, whoa! I slammed my hand on the keyboard better than you. I'll deserve the win. What's the point? Just kidding, here's one more Hero Mirror match for you all to enjoy, because this one shows how stupid you can get playing this deck. And I'm not talking about me, I'm talking about my opponent. Sorry if you're watching this video, by the way, but learn to read. I don't know what else to say. This hand is ass. This is the worst hand that I've opened. I'm just gonna use my thing to set a Neos. Set Poly, set DDG, pass. You know, this is one of the worst hands imaginable. My opponent's gonna set a card, summon Stratos, get a thing, but I'm gonna Veiler it. So then I can flip the DDG. You'll notice that I held my DDG for them to whatchamacallit, so I could still use the effect Veiler because I'm skilled like that. They're gonna activate Poly at this point. I'm gonna activate the DDG that I had set. because I'm smarter than they are. And I'm not gonna make the same mistake that I already did, and which cost me a couple of games. Sunrise effect, Liquid Soldier still triggers if it's banished, so they're gonna send a Crosskeeper. I don't think they noticed that it went to the graveyard, right? They think, oh, I put in my graveyard with the Liquid Soldier, so now I can use it a few more. I'm genius. I don't know work like that. They're gonna flip it, they're gonna activate the Sec Miracle Fusion. I promise you, at this stage, they spent a solid like 15 seconds being like, oh, what can I use the monsters in my graveyard? What monsters in my graveyard? Where are they? Read my cards, dude. There's a pile of your cards over there. You never thought to consider checking those and being like, whoa, my things that I thought was in graveyard, they're not in graveyard. Anyway, they're gonna Miracle Fusion 2 of their best monsters into a Great Tornado that doesn't do anything. Activate a Miracle Fusion, banishing the Great Tornado and the fucking Rainbow Dragon into something else. Set Super Poly and attack. And at this stage, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just gonna Super Poly on my own. Just like, what the fuck else is there for me to worry about? They used all their Poly targets except for Sunrise. I forget about the Sunrise all the time. I'm gonna draw 2, put the Miracle Fusion back. Normal Straders because I want to force out this thing. Oh, it's Super Poly. Oh, wow. I outplay my opponent through and through, but because they get to click yellow button, get Super Poly, they still get to fuse into a Sunrise. I guess I did the same. I can't complain. Because they use all of their Miracle Fusions, they're not going to get any search of it, so the game plan becomes Armed Dragon Thunder level 10 beatdown, which I don't think a hero deck should have access to. You should not be able to do that in hero. You should not be able to just click yellow button, change your game plan entirely. This is a really strong card, right? It sucks in Armed Dragons because Armed Dragons suck, but when you get it for free, it's really strong. Look, my opponent's gonna activate some stuff. I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna pitch, destroy. They're gonna set a face down. I don't know why they're not fusing here. Like, what's the point? Maybe they can't? Maybe they ran out of targets in their extra deck? I don't get it. I'm just gonna go for battle because they did such a poly for free. This has to be polymerization, and this is a Liquid Soldier. So why don't you just fuse? Hero players, man. Holy shit! This game is garbage. I still hate this deck. I don't know what to tell you. I still hate it. It's absolutely zero fun to play. It's still zero fun to play against. You still have to suffer for like 24 hours until the ban list goes live, and people are still probably keep playing this deck because it is still really free to play and accessible and requires no thought whatsoever. So at least the format is going to get a tiny bit better in less than a day, but this abomination should not have been made in the first place. There's no reason why you should be able to go into an Armed Dragon Thunder line in hero. Like, this doesn't work, and there's no reason why the ban list should hurt pretty much every other version of hero, but keep this one intact because the only thing that makes this one different is the completely bonkers skill. Thank you, Duel Links. I absolutely love this game at the moment. Can't you tell? This skill should not exist, and the person who made this skill should be fired from Konami and have to put into their resume that they made this, and they'll never get hired anywhere else again. I am usually against people losing their jobs, be it in the video game industry or any other industry, right? Because most often when people lose their jobs, it is because of greedy CEOs and shareholders who, instead of like redistributing the wealth that their company has accrued accordingly, decides to keep it all to themselves and keep pursuing infinite wealth that literally isn't sustainable. That is not a sustainable model, but they keep wanting more money, and sometimes to make more money you have to cut corners, but instead of like dropping their salaries or anything, or their stock options or whatever, they just fire people, right? That's just capitalism. They just fire people. I want the person who made this to lose their job forever and never get a job again, and lose all of their money, and also their wife if they're married, or their husband, you don't know. I want them to divorce them if they have one. If they have children, I want the other parent to get full custody. I want their family to completely reject them. I don't want them to die. that's too harsh, right? Yeah, that's too mean. That's a fate reserved for the current owner of Twitter. But this person, the person that made this kill, should be treated like the incompetent scum that they are. This is garbo. This is the most garbo Duel Links has ever been because of this, but it'll get a tiny bit better tomorrow when the ban list goes live. The silver lining to this is that at least Rush Duel is pretty fun. I know that we're facing a near tier 0 Gaia situation, but that's the deck that is fun to play and does require a modicum of thoughts, and it has like enough room for skill expression that I think it's generally more enjoyable to play in tier 0 Gaia formats than to play a format in which this version of hero exists and is playable. Anyway, thank you for watching this video once again. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you have not already. Why don't you comment some decks that I could be playing, some decks that could be enjoyable. I've been trying to learn Necros for the past couple of days, and I have a 0% win record playing Necros. It's insane. I have lost to like Cyber Angels playing Necros. I just don't get the deck. If you'd like to support more rants and more molding financially, make sure to check out my Ko-fi in the video description, where you can support me through a one-time donation or a monthly pledge. I would like to take this opportunity to thank my Ko-fi donators in the form of Dingust, Zinnia, Yannike, Jimmy, Sile, I've been mispronouncing it as a seal for the past like couple of videos. Sile, Marklu, Fortuno16, The Abyss Actor Guru, Orc Price, and X-Assist. Thank you all for your support. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching one final time. Take care everyone, and I will see you all next time.